Anikita, nanikita, nanikitam, dum dum. Hey people. Hey no. Hey ma people. How are you doing? Uh well, you know what? I was gonna pull a Kimberly. I was gonna pull a Kimberly Nicole Foster and say, well, I'm good. Thank you so much for asking. Um, it always feels weird to say hello, how are you, and then knowing that no one is going to reply. Well, not to my face anyway. Y'all are somewhere listening to this, and I'm somewhere recording this. So there's there is a connection, but it's distant, if that makes sense. But anyway, I digress. Um, oh, just before I move on to anything else, the song, the little snippet, like tiny snippet of the song that I sang in the beginning, or that I tried to anyway, um, is a really popular song from when I was a kid in the Caribbean, in Guadeloupe. And I think I don't know if I don't know where the singer is from. I don't know if it's from Guadeloupe or Martinique, but anyway, the song was popular on both islands, and it's a really beautiful song, and it's called Lapli, which means hmm, that's like the rain that falls on corrugated iron, right? You know that sound. That's that's what it's about. And you should check it out. I'm gonna try to find a link and I'll post it in the description, or the notes or whatever, depending on whatever app you're listening to this on. You will find a link. I'll try to make it a YouTube thing. All right. Yeah. Today I want to talk about queerness, and actually marginalization in general, and the concept of victimhood. And I think there's a lot to say about that, but we're gonna try to keep it short. All right, keep it short. And before I go there, let me tell you something real quick. Tip tip tip. Okay, no, I'm not gonna do that. Hey, do you have some coin? Yeah, cause I need some coins. I need a mic, and that's what I need. I need to not be speaking into this box, with a scarf over my head and the box to try and block out as much like reverb or outside noise as possible. That's what I need. Um, and you know what? If you have it like that, you can actually click on there's a link, a wish list, an Amazon wish list. I know Amazon is like the axis of evil, but you know, um, if you have it, you can check that list, and there's a mic on there, like a shield. It's not the mic itself, it's the shield, um, to stop the noises and stuff, and that would be absolutely amazing. But that's something different. Well, no, actually, that's a contribution too. But you can also, I don't know, go to ftnpod.com and check out the donate button at the top and donate any amount you want. And it's a one time thing if you want to. You can also, if you want to make it a more regular thing, you don't want to think about it, you just want to be like, okay, I have $2, just $2, baby. Let me just, yeah, $2 every month. Let me just do that. And like on autopilot. And you can do that by going to the very same website, ftnpod.com, and you will see either donate or Patreon. I think there's both. I always forget. because I'm not really on my own website like that. But you can go there and see, well, donate or Patreon. And yeah, if you don't want to do any of that stuff, and I understand, I'm not gonna be mad. I'm not gonna be mad. You can simply like this podcast. You can share it. You can save it. You can you can give me a 5-star review because that's good for the algorithm, and then the podcast will be shown to other people, and yeah, and that's for free, absolutely free. So please do that, and if you feel like it, then yeah, go ahead and drop a coin in the bucket. I will not say no to that. All right, thank you so much, and let's continue the conversation. Y'all, let's get into some updates. I don't know, well, I have people listening from many different places. So some of y'all are in Europe, so you know that we just had the elections for the EU Parliament, well, for the representatives, and over here in France, the far right had a lot of seats, right? They had a lot of votes, and that was absolutely no surprise, like at all. They're doing pretty well. They have been doing pretty well for how long? I mean, right now, like these past couple years, maybe they've been like super active and strong, and that's mostly thanks to social media and all. Well, actually, to me, that's like a 20-year-old strategy. Well, in case you don't know, I'm gonna get into that like super quick, and it's my perception, it's my analysis. It's not necessarily what everybody says, but I'll just give you my thing real quick. So about 20 years ago, the president Sarkozy, oh my God. Anyway, that one, he kind of was like, oh, these people are gaining some traction. They are, like, their ideas are popular in France, right? We know the French are racist as hell. We talked about that earlier over here. And he was like, because Sarkozy was the right, the right-wing party. And he was like, you know what? Let me use some of their ideas and like for myself. And so he did that, and they crumbled. They were in debt. They had lots of financial issues. But what happened is that he normalized these ideas by taking them to the mainstream. Because there was always this thing about, well, you cannot speak to the far right. You cannot like nothing about them is reasonable. And what he did by taking their ideas and claiming them for his own, he cleaned them up, or he made them palatable. And so although like for that specific election that he won, it worked to his advantage, the problem is that long term it was doing a lot of harm. So that was the very first step to me. The first step towards mainstreaming right wing, like super far right wing ideas. And then what Sarkozy did is in his government, he got people from the right, people from the left, and those parties exploded. Well, the parties on the left exploded. The left in general exploded. And they still have not recovered. It made the right-wing party stronger, like immediately. it made the left-wing party explode immediately. When I say the left-wing party, I mean the main one. And the far right was in like deep troubles. Few years down the road, we have far right ideas that are still that are mainstream now. We have a leftist party that is weaker, even though they had a president like right after Sarkozy, but they were left weaker. And then we had Macron, who's like, you know what? Let me take a page out of Sarkozy's book and let me create this whole new party that's supposed to be the center. It's really the right. But it's the right wing with people who are not homophobic, with people who are not like super hateful, like openly hateful towards minorities, and who are not like socially conservative, right? So you have Macron who's like, okay, let me create this quote unquote this new movement, this new party. And he stole from the left, but was left of the left, and he killed the right wingers like Sarkozy's party by doing the same thing. And so he got people from both sides, and also in terms of strategy, placed the far right movement, the far right party, which by now had been already like mainstreamed, like I said, and made that the enemy, because he knows, and everybody knows, that in France, when the far right is like getting, a little too like ahead, people mobilize, and it's like, okay, we're gonna vote for whoever is not the far right. And Macron is using that to be like, hey, boogeyman, vote for me. That's what happened when he was elected, I think. I mean, that's what he's been doing. So that's what happened. And that's what he's trying to do again. It may backfire. I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, that was the political page. And we're going to move on to something else, but because I don't want this to be like just about that. Although we're going to talk about the right wing in the main on the main topic today. But yeah, that was super important, and it's something that we have to keep an eye on. And yeah, So the topic today is about marginalization and mistreatment, really, of people who live in the margins, and victimhood. I know you've heard more than once. People be like, hey, why are you such a victim? Or people claiming, hey, I am not a victim. And I always find that fascinating and weird, to be honest. I find that strange because I think it's really a way of giving in to right-wing framing, and I'm not sure it's actually beneficial to anyone who's actually marginalized. Here's what I want to say about that. So, right-wingers are really good at one thing in particular, and that's framing. They are good at taking complex things, because everything in life comes with nuance, comes with with a background, and requires, like, if you want to do anything justice, it requires you to take a little bit of time and and think, and right-wingers are great at saying, no, it's very simple, so that their base, who are not exactly known for being the most and I mean, I'm saying that, and I'm not I mean, I'm just gonna say it, but I mean, they're not known to be like the smartest people or the most intellectually inclined, right? Not that they're dumb, but they're not necessarily the people who are the most interesting in taking the time to think about stuff, right? That's really who their base is for. That's why they keep appealing to emotions like um, fear of the unknown, or nostalgia, like it was better before, and racism and stuff, and all of that is the racism and the xenophobia is all related to this idea of it was better before, and we don't want anything new, or we don't want those people that we don't know, etc. So yeah, that's why they keep doing that. They keep appealing to their base with those feelings. So this thing about the framing here that I'm getting at is there's this thing when a marginalized person is talking about whatever has happened to them, right? Hey, somebody was racist, or hey, this job or whatever. I mean, there are countless situations where marginalized folks, suffer under racism or suffer under whatever system that is targeting their marginalized identity. And what happens a lot is that you have a person who goes like right into the right wing framing of, well, stop being a victim. And the reason I find that the reason I find that extremely not just offensive, it's offensive, but it's ridiculous. And that's because people don't choose to be victims, right? Being a victim of something just only means that something unwarranted happened to you. That's what it means. Something unwarranted happened to you. So it has nothing to do with choice. It has nothing to do with letting things happen or wanting to be a victim. It's just something unwarranted has happened to you. So you were a victim of it, period. I think that what people do when they tell you, oh, stop being a victim, or, you should not allow yourself to be a victim, however they want to frame it, what they're doing is, because the situation is something they cannot fix, and that's the best scenario, right? Because it's something they cannot fix, and they are feeling the frustration of not being able to do anything about it, then they have to make it a non-problem in order to move on from it and stop talking about it, right? And that's, again, best scenario, because sometimes it's just like, I just don't want to deal with it, not because I don't feel like that I'm not equipped, or I'm sorry, not because I feel that I'm not equipped, but because I just don't want to deal with that. I just don't want to be bothered with that. I don't want to see how I can contribute to the solution to this. And I don't want to think about my own role in what you are describing. So let me just say that you are the problem, and I will be rid of that original problem that you're talking about, because it's not an actual problem. You are. And that's the less that is the less good version of why people are doing this. Now it can be even more sinister, actually, when it is when there is a political context, like when you have right wingers, and I'm talking about politicians, not just the base, but when you have politicians who refuse to see a problem and will tell people, well, stop being a victim, as if people are choosing to be mistreated because of whatever marginalized identity they have. That is a complete reversal, or at least a stripping of victimhood, right? And again, that victimhood as in, oh my God, oh, I'm crying and I'm choosing to just cry about nothing. Because that's what it sounds like when people talk about victimhood, right? The word now itself is very loaded. It's loaded because you can't, I don't think really today you can talk about victimhood and simply picture a person who has been attacked. Picture someone who has been unfairly targeted. I don't think today you can see the word victimhood without seeing some intention on the part of the person who claims victimhood. Right? Even saying it that way, I'm not even sure it's going through. Let me know. Please let me know. Comment. Send me some messages because I really want to know how you feel about that. But I feel like right-wingers have dispossessed victimhood of its meaning and have turned it around so that the victim is now, like the victim, the person who suffers under a system, who suffers under mistreatment, is now the aggressor, right? The victim is now the person who we should not trust. The victim is the person who is actually, because of their victimhood, and that's right-wing framing for you, because of their victimhood, they are now trying to get a leg up. So their victimhood is actually a privilege. That's how perverse right-wingers are, like the politicians are. And the ones on the right, I mean, it's really like a right-wing technique here. But that's how perverse it is when they claim, identity politics and you know how they do, right? So that's really how perverse it is. So you do two things in it's like two things in one here. First, you get to completely eliminate the idea, like the concept of mistreatment behind victimhood. So mistreatment disappears, and you get to actually reverse the charge, which in turn keeps the system in place just as it is. Because if the victims are really the perpetrators, then the system is really good. The people who are on top in the system deserve to be where they are. Does that make sense? To me, it's extremely perverse. So I will never say, stop being a victim. I will never say that I'm not a victim if I have suffered under a system, right? Being a victim is just a fact. It's not an identity. It's not an opinion. It's not a strategy. It's a fact. It means you have suffered. It means you have suffered because someone has decided that they were going to target you for whatever they wanted to do. So I don't talk about and I mean, unless a person talks that way because about themselves, I don't talk about survivors of sexual assault, for example. I mean, sure, they are survivors, but they are victims, right? And I don't think we should take away from them that they are victim, because they're victims specifically because they were targeted for a perceived weakness, right? It does not mean that the person is forever weak. It doesn't mean that the person is weak in every aspect of their lives. It doesn't mean that the person will only be defined by this moment of weakness or this moment of vulnerability. That's not what it means. It means that that moment has existed and a person has taken advantage of it. It means that someone else, whether or not this person was weak or not, someone else was stronger or stronger in that moment and took advantage of the situation, took advantage of wherever they were. That's what it means. And taking away victimhood from the victims is also taking away responsibility from the perpetrator. And I'm not doing that. I am I am not doing that. I don't want to sound like I'm more invested in, catching predators than the victim's well-being, because that's not it. But I think that the victim's well-being starts by acknowledging their status as a victim. And if you don't do that, then what exactly are you, what problem exactly are you trying to solve if there is no victim? And all of this actually came from the discussion with Vinny Jr., I think the soccer player, who said, I don't know if it's an exact quote or not, because I simply heard someone say that and it triggered that thought in my mind. I think he said something about he's not a victim, but he is a tormentor of racists. He's not a victim of racism, but he's a tormentor of racists. And I like the idea of being a tormentor of racists. I absolutely love it. But it doesn't mean that you're not also suffering under racism or suffering racist attacks. It's not incompatible. And to me, it's really important to put the words on what's happening, because if you don't actually fully acknowledge the problem, then what solution are you offering? That's really my question. See, I said I was not going to be like too long, and I was not. And I want to know your thoughts. I really want to know what you think about that. I wasn't like super specific really, because it really applies to all types of situations. It's about racism, it's about sexism, it's about sexual assault. It's about any type of situation where someone with more structural power uses that power, well, not just structural, like physical power as well, and uses that power to subdue or mistreat someone else. So it's about power and how it is used on other people in the society. And I want to know what you think. So let me know your thoughts. You have all the links and everything you need to contact me. Also, you can go to the website. There's a contact form. Or you can email me at contact@ftnpod.com. I'll reply. I'll reply. As long as you're not sending any weird stuff, okay? Okay. Anyway, y'all, thank you so much for spending this time with me again. And like, comment, share, all of that good stuff. And yeah, show your support, y'all. Show your support. Your girl needs your support. All right, thank you so much. Bye bye.